I know it sounds really weird. I would love
Great.
Thank you. I know. I've been saying.
Do you love me too?
Does the studio look a little different to you?
No, why?
I guess it's nothing.
No.
Let's do the show.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome to the UConn Tonight Show. I'm your host, Tony Tyson.
And I'm your co-host, Brian Higgins.
And here's what's new in the news this week. A middle school in San Francisco is in the news this week after the school's principal refused to release school election results because she claimed they didn't reflect the diversity of the school properly. That's her reasoning, although it may also be because the overwhelming winner of the election was writing candidate Principal Van Harnlick's butt. Netflix has indicated that it may soon expand its services to cover news, possibly competing with news services like Vice. While no concrete details have been released, we assume it will let you browse through hundreds of potential news stories, not watch any of them, and then take a nap instead.
Two hunters in Norway had an unusual accident this week. After shooting and killing two large moose, they realized they had accidentally shot through the bars of a zoo. In retrospect, the hunters thought that the giraffe that they bagged was too good to be true. Facebook has announced that it will alert users if they are the target of a state-sponsored hacking attack. Facebook says that it will use the same high-level warning system to tell you when your uncle is about to comment on one of your photos.
Jimmy Butler of the Chicago Bulls, who has recently received a $95 million contract, told reporters this week that he wants to put the past behind him so badly that he removed his rearview mirror. Butler also said he wants to focus on the present and not think about the future too much, so he had his front windshield blacked out as well. This week, a Dutch banker accidentally transferred $6 billion into a customer's bank account. The mistake was noticed, and the money was recovered the next day, with only $5 billion of it going to strippers.
A woman in Jacksonville, Florida prolonged a police standoff this week because she, quote, wanted to have sex one last time. Wow, that sure must have been annoying for those cops. I mean, can you imagine having to wait an extra 2 minutes on a police standoff?
Wait, did you say 2 minutes?
In other dumb criminal news, a man was arrested after a police chase wrote drug dealer as his occupation. In keeping with his honesty, he also wrote prison for the rest of my life as his address. A couple in Florida is killing it this week. A couple in Florida has been arrested after stealing jewelry from an art gallery and leaving their name and phone number in a guest book. The couple reportedly left their phone number next to two fake emails, one of which was we-didn't-take-it@gmail.com. The other fake email was we also have a ton of weed at hotmail.com.
A Russian chemist who has injected himself with a 3.5 million year old bacteria claims that he now has superhuman abilities. The organisms found in Siberian permafrost are helping the scientist do things he's never done before, like talk to a woman. Joe Biden announced Wednesday that he will not seek candidacy for the presidential race. He delivered the announcement at the White House Rose Garden, but was drowned out by the sound of Hillary Clinton trumpeting from the top of the Capitol building.
On October 21st, millions across the country celebrated Back to the Future Day, a holiday that celebrates the date that Marty McFly traveled forward in time in Back to the Future 2. Americans celebrated in many ways that honored the film trilogy, including riding around in DeLoreans, sharing movie quotes, and experiencing sexually tense situations with their mothers. The writer of Back to the Future ended years of speculation and admitted that Donald Trump was the real-life inspiration for the movie's villain, Biff Tannen. We can only hope that, like the real Biff Tannen, we will stop seeing Trump in anything.
This week, the final round of baseball playoffs took place, with the New York Mets playing the Chicago Cubs and the Toronto Blue Jays playing the Kansas City Royals. Soon, sports fans will be able to turn their attention to football, which, if baseball is any indication, will culminate in a Jaguars-Lions Super Bowl. A recent report by the website NerdWallet found that today's college graduates won't be able to retire until the age of 75. Some are even saying that this is an optimistic guess, and that the world will probably be inhospitable before that.
Many parents and teachers are upset at a high school in California that has redefined its grading scale. And the new scale, an F is anything below a 20, while a D is between a 20 and a 40, and an A can be anything as low as an 85. Now, I for one think this is a great idea that UConn should adopt, so I can finally tell my parents that I'm getting straight D's. New research by Gallup.com shows that marijuana use has nearly doubled since the early 2000s, with 9.5% of adults now using marijuana. Thanks, Obama. But actually, thank you.
Author J.K. Rowling has announced that her upcoming Harry Potter sequel will be a two-part play that will focus on a middle-aged Harry Potter and his son. Next summer, you can see Harry take on his greatest foe yet in Harry Potter and the Awkward Sex Talk. A spokesperson for the Lego toy company has recently announced that the company may run out of blocks by Christmas, prompting thousands of children to assert that no Mega blocks are not the same thing, Mom. Stay tuned for more UConn Tonight Show.
So what exactly is the undergraduate student government? Who are we?
The undergraduate student government is composed of 5 standing committees. Those committees are made up of elected senators and committee members. They are Academic Affairs, External Affairs, Funding Board, Student Development, and Student Services. Every other week, senators meet to vote on issues pertaining to students. We are the only student organization in which every member is elected by you.
We have allocated about $1 million towards student initiatives this year.
We organize discussions on sexual assault awareness.
We work to stop a $400 housing fee increase to make tuition more affordable for the student body.
We worked with the student recreational facility and UITS to get Wi-Fi installed in the gym.
We met with both major party candidates for lieutenant governor and asked about their support for Next Generation Connect.
We established a student committee to tell the administration what the students wanted to be put in the new recreation facility.
We got the library hours back at 2 a.m. and set plans to expand a 24-hour study space.
As students ourselves, we're here to understand your wants and needs, and we're here to ensure that you own your UConn experience.
USG is always here with you, facilitating a better UConn community. Students today, Huskies forever.
Hello and welcome back to the UConn Tonight Show. I'm your host, Tony Tyson.
I'm your co-host, Brian Higgins.
And our guest today is an instructor here at UConn, Michael Mallery. Michael, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks for coming
Appreciate you guys for having me here today.
Thank you. So you are here, an instructor here at UConn. Are there any classes that you teach particularly here?
So currently I am working with the first year experience program and teaching the incoming freshmen, letting them know what it means to be a Husky, how that relates to their future career, and hopefully inspiring them in the process. So it's been a great journey thus far.
All right, great. So I understand you said you do you try to inspire them. Is there anything that you any other things that kind of like motivate you to become to inspire your students in the first year program, or is there anything anything else that you do here at UConn to help that?
So I think in short, I guess to answer your first point, what makes me want to inspire the students, because this is their first taste of the big life, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the good life or the big life in the sense of now they're coming to UConn and they're new. Right? They don't know quite what they want to do just yet in life, and they're in fact trying to see and figure out their self-identity. How do I fit in? I probably was the man or the woman on campus where I came from in high school. So how can I now transition into a university with over 20,000 students? What does that look like? What does that feel like? So I try to break down, their own personalities into a way and say, hey, who are you? What's your self-identity? If you don't know what your self-identity is, what would you want your self-identity to be within the next 4 years as you matriculate through the university and upon graduation? What does that mold, what does that model look like for yourself? So I try to inspire them, I try to make it interactive, engaging, and all of these different things that students, thrive off on, these days. And it's been interesting. And I kind of got into the motivational realm as it relates to just my personality and persona about 5-6 years ago. So I'm originally from Louisiana, great state of Louisiana, and I came here to UConn. I was offered an opportunity from a speaking tour that I was on for my personal life. I was on a speaking tour, and actually a great professor here named Professor Jeffrey Oakbar actually brought me in to UConn, and I was exposed to the UConn culture. And from that standpoint, I was offered a position in the School of Business.
Okay.
To do programming and development and different things as it relates to public speaking, building your personal brand, effective networking, and all of the professional development aspects that students want and need, to hopefully grow beyond, grow beyond their current opportunity into their future possibilities.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So you spoke about how you're involved in like motivational speaking. You've been on speaking tours and whatnot. Have you ever done any like motivational speeches here at UConn to some of the students here, or maybe to the faculty here as well?
All the time, man. I think I'm one of those speakers that's on the list for a lot of the cultural centers and academic programs, Res Life, and a lot of times I'm try to email, hey, we want you to come speak on this topic, inspire the students to in fact, unleash their potential, which is actually one of the current talks that I have on my current tour, but unleash their potential, to realize who they are and why that matters to them. So, yeah, I've spoken for Res Life. I've done their RA training, which is over 400 students. I've done Welcome Back Dinner for African American Cultural Center. I've done Millennials on the Move is one of my big motivational talks, where I bring myself and other, high-flying young millennials who are carving out their own niche in the world. And yeah, it's been anywhere from 75 students to 600 students since I've been here. And, it's been awesome.
So what is your going rate for helping me get through my homework?
Listen, whatever you need, will inspire you. And if not, I'll hire a couple of people to knock.
All right, I think I need a team.
Okay, we'll make it work in any way, shape, form, and fashion, as long as you get to the end result that you're looking for.
Let's do it.
Get you forward, man. So.
That's great. So you mentioned earlier that you've done that you're on a speaking tour right now. Currently, where are you stopping at in this speaking tour?
Wow. So actually, just last Saturday was at Boston College. So I did Boston College, beautiful campus. Next week I'm actually in Tacoma, Washington, at a premier high school, Stadium High School. Nice. So that's 1,600 students. I'm looking forward to inspiring. The following week I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, speaking on there for the Black Men Can National Tour. So that's a separate tour that I'm on with one of my good friends, Brandon Frame, and that's kind of his baby. He's a chief visionary officer for that. So I'm headlining one of those talks next in 2 weeks in St. Louis, Missouri. The week after that, before Thanksgiving, I'm in DC, and I kind of streamline it for the rest of the semester. And then January, I have a lot of interesting cities, domestic and internationally, I'm looking at. So just staying busy.
That's awesome.
Staying busy, walking in purpose. So
that's
really cool.
So I understand that you also have written a book about like how to stay motivated and motivational speaking. Do you want to talk about that a little bit with us?
Yeah, so I'm known in the world right now as Mr. Respect the Swag, right? So swag is an acronym, students with academic goals. So it started as me kind of playing off of society swag, right? Materialism, looking good, feeling good, being popular, and all of these things that matter to some degree. But what does it really mean, to yourself in becoming better each day? So created the book, The Journal, and it started off just as a comprehensive journal with academic tips and things of that nature. It got so popular when I launched the Respect the Swag tour a couple years ago that someone said, hey, you need to break this down into different levels. So I have the middle school edition, the high school edition, and the collegiate edition, and those are available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon. Well, it started on Amazon and just got picked up by Barnes & Noble online, so I'm extremely excited about that addition to my portfolio. And it's been good. It's in schools across the country. College students love it. It's kind of one of those things you read academic tips, and then it's a journal component at the end that kind of challenges you that if you do these things for 30 days, you should see this type of result, within your own professional development.
Okay, great. Was there any advice that you want to give to like the UConn students now, since how you are like a motivational speaker, and since you've written a book on this, any advice that you want to just impart on the student body now?
I mean, I think in short, I would tell the students, one, who are you? I think before you can try to reach your greatest potential, you have to identify who you are as an individual. What does that represent? What are your core pillars?
Okay.
One of my mantras for life is, do you want it easy or do you want it great? It's a quote that one of my good friends, Malik Champlain, posed to me, and it's something that I've been rocking with for a couple of years now. And do you want it easy or do you want it great? I know that schools at midterm and tests and all these exams, some things might, relate to what you're doing in the classroom, might not relate to what you want to do in your life, but it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. So you stay and identify who you are, and what you have to in fact become to reach your greatest potential. I think if you keep that in the back of your mind, and then surround yourself with a good core group of individuals that's going to inspire you wake you up every morning as it relates to just that self-motivation that you need.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I have a comedy show in an hour. Can I just get some quick motivation?
Quick motivation. So what type of fun are we trying to do? Is it sketch comedy?
It's improv and stand-up.
Improv. So what are we looking for? Are we trying to make the students laugh as it relates to some of the shenanigans that have been happening on campus, or is this personal comedy as it relates?
It's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah. Just can you just
hype them up? Hype them up.
Hype me up. Just tell me I'm funny.
You're great. You're funny. You're hilarious. You're
Thank
dynamic.
you. Thank
Jimmy
you.
Fallon has nothing on
I know.
you. Jimmy
I've
Kimmel,
been saying it.
David Letterman.
No, they're hacks.
Kevin Hart.
No.
Whoever it is has nothing on you. Can't hold a
Yeah.
hold a candle to you. So you, my friend, are a rock star. You get 5 gold stars because you're awesome.
Thank
and
you.
I think that is something that you should think to yourself before your improv show.
Thank you.
It's so great. He's so happy.
I'm so fired up right now.
It is so great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah,
thank you.
Appreciate
thank
it,
you.
gentlemen.
You just changed my life.
I should. Hopefully, I changed your life. If not, I'm planting the seed in fact for your life to change. Right there is awesome.
All right,
All
great.
right, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we'll be back with more UConn Tonight Show. Hello and welcome back to the UConn Tonight Show. I'm your host, Tony Tyson, and my guest today is...
I'm Kate Chmielesky, and I'm from Community Outreach.
Kate, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
So, Kate, can you tell me a little bit about what Community Outreach is?
Yeah, so Community Outreach is an organization that has a lot of different volunteer options. So we have volunteer groups that will go into food shelters as well as go into elementary schools, high schools. There's programs that will go into a correctional facility and tutor different inmates for taking the, I wanted to say TRE, oh my god, I gotta say that, for taking, and they'll tutor different inmates. So we do a variety of different programs, but on and off campus we have the alternative breaks program, which will go either on a weekend or winter break or spring break, and they'll go to Costa Rica, or they'll go to Mississippi or Florida, everywhere, and they'll do different trips. Some are focused around urban poverty, rural poverty, migrant farm work. So they'll do different. They'll have different activities and different volunteer organizations that they work with that are trying to solve or work with a certain social issue, and so you can apply to go on a trip.
Oh, okay, great. So how does one apply for one of these trips? It sounds pretty great to me.
Yeah, so the trips are great. So to apply for any of our programs, whether it's an alternative break or a volunteer program, you can go on to UContact and search any one of our student groups. So, and then from there, they'll give you a contact information, and then you can go and email that person, as well as going onto the Community Outreach website, and you can apply from there.
Oh, okay, great. So you said you can go apply to any one of the programs through UContact. Do we look up UConn Community Outreach, or is there subsets of Community Outreach that we look for here?
That's a good question. So you can look at the Community Outreach page and see all the different programs that we're involved in, but you can also just search. Each program has their own page on UContact as well. So you can just go in and search volunteer groups, and all of those will pop up as well too.
Okay, great. So how did you actually get involved with Community Outreach? How did that come about?
Yeah, so I was a freshman, and I went to the involvement there, and I knew that I really wanted to work with kids. So I found this one program. It was called COPE, and it was brand new. And what they do is they go into elementary schools, and they work with kids that are going through some sort of family change, whether it's divorce, death, maybe they moved from China or a new country and don't know the language. So it's like a lunch group, and so they come and they'll have a UConn mentor for them. We do different activities that teach them how to cope with different stresses, because as a child it's hard to know how to deal with these big issues that even affect adults. So that's what we would do, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I got more involved. I did more programs. I went on alternative breaks. So service has always been really important to me, but that's how I really got involved in community outreach.
All right, great. And what is your position now in community outreach here?
So I'm a coordinator of youth development and education for children programs. And that's a really long way of saying that I oversee groups that mentor and tutor young kids.
Okay, great. Yeah. So let's say I wanted to get involved with community outreach and get involved in some of the work you all do here. Is there any expenses or anything that I need to pay for me to go on these trips? I mean, not like we're traveling to Costa Rica and other places around the country and whatnot.
Yeah, so there are some expenses, and usually it's the trips that cost more, just because, like you're saying, we're traveling. So there are some expenses, and it depends on where they're going. They can be more expensive, and also like, so if they're going during winter break, it's more expensive than spring because of funding.
Yes.
And how far you're going as well. But we also have a scholarship through community outreach that if you cannot afford to, if you want to do service, you want to do a service-related event and you cannot afford it, you can apply for the scholarship.
Okay.
So we have that because we understand that we don't want anyone to be turned down from doing good work just because they can't afford it. So we always have that option.
Well, that's great. It sounds like you're doing amazing work there, helping both students and other people around the country and Costa Rica and whatnot. So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right. And we'll be back with more UConn Tonight Show.
You know, it's work like that. That's why the chicks dig me, I'll tell you.
You know me. Would I let you down? Come here and hug me.
Hello and welcome back to the UConn Tonight Show. I'm your host, Tony Tyson. My guest today is
Ashwini Joshi. I'm here with Huskython, and in case you don't know, Huskython is an 18-hour dance marathon that supports Connecticut Children's Medical Center.
Ashwini, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell me a little bit more about Huskython? I know you gave us a little brief description, but can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so Huskython is a year-long fundraising effort that raises money for Connecticut Children's Medical Center, and it all culminates in this big 18-hour dance marathon on a weekend in February.
Oh, nice.
And this year, it's going to be on February 20th, which is very exciting.
Great. So how do people sign up to get involved in Huskython?
So you can get involved in a bunch of different ways. To sign up, you've got to go to Donor Drive, and that link is on our new website, which is just open today, so you can go to huskython.org, and all of our information is there. Most people sign up on teams, so you can go with an organization that you're really involved in, or just a couple friends, or what a lot of people don't know is you can sign up as an individual, and you don't necessarily have to have a team.
Okay, great. Yeah. So what kind of organizations get involved in, or how many people get involved with Huskython, really? Like what types?
So all different types of people get involved in Huskython. Last year we had around 2,000 dancers and 500 volunteers from all different organizations. So we do have a big presence from Greek organizations, but it's not just Greeks. We have people like the Medical Humanitarian Society, Pre-Med Society, different cultural groups. Pretty much anyone can find something that they love about Huskython, whether it's the dancing, the other activities like sports and laser tag, karaoke, rave hour, whatever it is. There's a ton of stuff going on at Huskython, whether it's the fact that you get to give back to the community by raising money, and you get to interact with the kids and the families and just that aspect of it, or whether it's just being around a ton of people and being involved in this big UConn tradition. There's really something in it for everyone.
That's great. I really think this is a great organization to get involved with. How did you get into Huskython? Like, how did you get to your position now?
So I actually first started as a dancer with my sorority, Phi Sigma Rho, which is a social sorority for women in engineering, and we had a team, and I thought Huskython sounded like a cool idea, sounded like fun. I'm interested in medicine, so I was like, oh wow, like, you know, we're raising money for Children's Hospital. That seems like a really good cause. And so I was a dancer. And then at Huskython, I realized just how much of an impact we can have as UConn students on the kids in our local community. And I really, really loved it. And it was just so inspiring. So I decided to apply for management team. And I was very fortunate to get on a management team as a freshman going into my sophomore year. So this is actually going to be my second year on management team. And so that's kind of been my story, dancer and management team.
Yeah.
But that's, people have really different ways of getting involved in Huskython. Some people don't start until their junior year. Some people jump right in as morale captains freshman year. Some people do the traditional kind of like dancer rep, morale captain, management type of thing. It's really up to you. You can be as involved or less involved if you have other commitments. It really just, it doesn't really matter. It's up to you, and no matter what you do, you're going to be doing something good for the kids, and that's all that matters.
That's great. Now, I'm surprised when you tell me this. I haven't heard about any other schools that are involved in this, in Huskython or in Dance Marathons. Do you know of any other schools that participate in this?
Oh yeah, so Dance Marathon is a nationwide movement.
Okay.
It started at Penn State Thon, and there are a bunch of colleges that are involved. The Huskython management team actually just went to a Dance Marathon Leadership Conference in Boston, where we met up with students from Quinnipiac, Emmanuel College, Northeastern, UMass, and other schools from New England who have dance marathons. Actually, Huskython is New England's largest student-run philanthropy, so we raise
Of course,
the
we're
most
Huskies.
money.
That's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. So, but there are other schools across the nation that raise millions of dollars every single year. So that's kind of what we're shooting for eventually. But and even beyond that, there's a bunch of schools, like high schools and middle schools and elementary schools across Connecticut that do get involved and who contribute to Huskython. Last year we had an elementary school raise over $3,000 for us.
Wow.
So,
Really,
you know, it's
really good.
10-year-olds helping other kids,
Yeah.
which is insane. So, you know, if they can do it, we can do it.
Yeah. So I understand you told us that you have the Huskython in February, but do you have any other events that lead up to Huskython, or is it just the one main event?
No, so Huskython, the dance marathon itself is in February, but the fundraising effort starts pretty much right when the previous Huskython ends.
Okay.
So people do fundraising year-round. You know, you can go canning, you can ask for donations for your birthday, for Christmas, other holidays, stuff like that. As an organization, we do have special events throughout the year too. So we do things like Zumbathon, which is a couple hours of Zumba, and you pay a couple dollars, like I think it was $5 last year, and you do Zumba for the kids, which is really fun.
Yeah.
We actually have a special event coming up on Halloween,
Okay.
so next Saturday, and that's called Zombie-thon. So you get to run around Horsebarn Hill. It's almost a 5K. It's 2.5 miles, and you get chased by zombies, which is pretty exciting, pretty cool. And the goal is to try to make it out alive. So it's more like a sprint from safe zone to safe zone rather than just your average 5K.
Yeah.
And then this year we're changing it up a little bit, so we're having it as a fall festival as well. So you don't just run, you get to get your face painted, you get to do pumpkin painting, you get to eat food. We're having popcorn and cotton candy and music and lawn games and photo ops. So I think it's gonna really be a fun event. All of our registration information is on our website and on the UConn Recreation website because we work very closely with them. And,
That's great.
They're a really good supporter of our cause and our events. So we have that coming up. We've got a late night coming up. In December, we've got a pasta dinner and some other events. So we really fundraise all year round. And in addition to that, we've got different dancer initiatives. So next week is also our dancer week. So you get to register easily. We're setting up tabling every single day, so you can just register.
In the Union, I assume?
Yes, it's in the Union and in the library.
Great.
We've got other different initiatives that you will be learning about if you follow our social media.
And where can we follow? What's your social media?
It is Huskython. I don't know. I'm not really good with social media, but I think it's just at Huskython. Yeah, there's a reason I'm not a social media director, but it's if you just type in Huskython, you'll be able to find it.
Cool.
Oh, I totally lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Dancer Week, and
Yes,
then
I'm
on
sorry.
Wednesday we have Dancer Appreciation Week, Dancer Appreciation Day. So if you were a dancer and then come to the library, you'll get like a food or drink or something. So it's really fun. We really are involved year round, and then kind of celebrate that with our dance marathon.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, great. And we'll be back with more UConn Tonight Show.